All right, on today's episode, so you want to be a mechanic and work on your own stuff, we try and fix the front brake that I messed up a couple weeks ago. So the front brake was working all right, and then I took it apart and it doesn't work now. So our parts finally came in. We got a new screw for the master cylinder, new spring, bushings, clips, and been waiting 8 months for these to show up. Finally got the frame or subframe mount bolt because I had to go find this little feller and put that in instead of having these little hex ones. So that was fun to try and dig through tools and figure out what would fit just so I could go ride it. So those finally showed up, and we'll put some of this stuff on today. Hopefully the front brake on this works because I really want to go ride it this weekend. So we'll see. So I need to drain all the brake fluid out of this thing before we leak brake fluid all over the graphics and stuff. So we're going to tackle this first before we do anything, and then I'll speed up the video as I replace this thing. Alright, so this is a piece that I think was messed up. So it's a little bent. You can really tell. But it's a little bent, so we're going to try and replace this thing and see if that helps us. Little trick. You can take a piece of like safety wire, run it through, let me just back it off. You run it through the middle of the little grommet, and then you can work it over this little ledge, because I have had no luck trying to get this thing over with my fingers. So we're doing this. So it worked. So whereas before, this big bump right here, you need to get the grommet over it. So using the safety wire, you can pull it over. It stretches it out a little bit. Don't pull too hard, but it's pretty centered on there, so we'll see if it works on the brakes. I think we'll be good. But I want to make sure the little C-clip is snapped in. This little guy is going to hold this screw in. So make sure that's snapped into the groove inside of the master cylinder so it doesn't pop out when you let go of your brake. So now that all that's done, we're going to replace this worn out line with a, where is it? Right here. We got a braided steel line we're going to put on there, and hopefully the stopping power on this thing is a lot better. One thing I do want to note, when you are bleeding your brakes, so anytime you disconnect the cable, drain a reservoir, you bleed all the air out of your brakes so that the caliper will work. So one thing I do want to note is you need to keep an eye on your reservoir and make sure that you're not draining the fluid all the way down to the stop. So there's that little black stopper down there that lets fluid in whenever you pull in the lever. And if you're not paying attention as you're pumping the lever and you open up the Zerk fitting down here, the little bleed screw right there, you're gonna drip, I'm sorry, I'm blanking out here, brake fluid out, and it's gonna drain your reservoir. So you wanna make sure that you keep filling it up and make sure whenever you have the fitting open, you keep the brake pulled in, because if you let go, it's going to suck air in and you're going to have to pretty much start over. Hopefully not from scratch, but it will suck air in and just make your job way harder. So I've been doing this for like 20 minutes, just pump, 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 trying to get all the air bubbles out. 1, 2, 3, hold, open up the fitting, let all the air come out, close the fitting, let go of the brake, do it all over again. Pump, 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 open this while you're holding that, and you're good to go. Keep doing that until you see fluid coming out of here. Then once you get fluid coming out of your fitting down here, you can hook up like a fuel hose or something that drains into a bucket, and you can see as it's pumping through, if there's air bubbles coming out, you still need to run fluid through there to make sure you get as many air bubbles out as possible. You want to see a steady stream of brake fluid coming out, and that way you know your brakes are perfect. I'll show you what it looks like from this angle as I'm bleeding all the bubbles out in the reservoir. I can watch all the bubbles come out. I have the fitting closed on the caliper right now. So I'm going to pump 1, 2, 3 and hold, and put your wrench right here. You're going to listen for air when you open it or fluid coming out. Alright, perfect. So we finally got some fluid coming out. I'm going to close this, make sure it's tight before you let go of the lever. There you go, it's tight. Now I can let go. Well, let me show you what the bubbles will look like. So as you pump, you can see the little bubbles come out. So I usually just pump until these bubbles kind of subside and go away. Alright? We're not opening up anything, we're just pumping the brake, working all the air out. Alright, so we're going to take our wrench, we're going to pump our brake, get all those bubbles out. They're still coming. Alright. So you're going to pump it, 1, 2, 3, you're going to open up your valve. So 1, 2, 3 and hold. Open up your valve down here. Okay, now close it. And let go of your brake. And you just keep repeating that until you get all the bubbles either out of the, well, both. You don't want to see bubbles in the reservoir and you don't want to see bubbles coming out of the fitting on your caliper. Brakes all installed. We bled the caliper through the bleed valve right here. Top out the reservoir, we just got to install the cap. The cap with the 2 screws. They actually have new screws. There you go. So we'll put the new screws on, put the reservoir cap on, and front brake's good to go. All I need to do is, this is going to get mounted right here, but that's pretty self-explanatory. And then, yeah, that's it. And then we're going to do probably a different video for subframe mount bolts, and then, what else did I get? Oh, then I need to put some fork guides on here. We got new fork guides, or the brake line guides for the fork guards. So those are going to get mounted right here because the old ones I had were all dry rotted and cracked. So got some new ones, and we're going to put those on probably in the next video because this took way longer than I thought it was going to take. But thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to see in particular about this bike or the Husky or the Harley. I'm probably going to do a pit bike video here pretty soon too. But let me know if there's anything you guys want to see or anything I could do better. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.